Hello guys, in the previous video we learned that how we can assign user some post. So basically we learned that how we can attach some post with the user, and we successfully store them in our database. So let me open the table, and yes, we have one post to attach with this user one, right? So now the time is to view this post, how we can get the user post. So let me add this here and make it comment, right? And go to the next line, and here we are going to retrieve the user post. So we have user one object, so it will return the user one. Okay, so let's save this one, go there, give it a refresh, and yes, it's retrieving the user one. Right now we want to get the user one post. How we can get them? Here you need to define the relation name, right? So in our case it's post. Okay, save this one and give it a refresh, and yes, now we are getting post with this pivot table, right? Why we are getting this? Because user one have one post, that's why we are getting this post. So if we have user 2, so it will not get any post because no post belong to user 2, and we don't have any user 2. So let me create a new user. So in our case it's John. Okay, its email is john@gmail.com. we are creating a test user here, and the password would be the password. Oops, I misspelled it. Okay, and then you need to click on this go. We successfully created the second user, so let me get this second user. Okay, so get this second user, so return it there. It's a user. Okay, we have second user, so let me give it a refresh, and yes, we are getting the second user. So now let me make this comment and get the user post. So it will not return any post. Why? Because user don't have any post in our pivot table. So we have only post of one user in this pivot table. So let's give it refresh, and yes, it's returning empty array. Why? Because user don't have any post. If we revert back and make this one, so we are getting the user one and their post. So let's give it a refresh, and yes, now we are getting the user one post. Why? Because of this pivot table. So you can access the user values from this pivot, right? So let's go there, and how we can actually delete the user post from this pivot table, right? So let's go there, make this comment, and we have a user object here, and then we need to call the relationship like we call in our attach method, right? And now there is another helper which is detach. So it's used for deleting the record from the pivot table, right? So we want to detach the post. Which post? We want to delete this first post, right? And we call the user instance, and then we call the relationship, and then we call this detach, and we want to detach this post. So let's save this one, give it refresh. It will detach the post, right? It's returned empty. That means that it's detached this post. So let's give it a refresh, and yes, there is no post. Why? Because we successfully detached this post. Great. So in the previous lesson we added a user with this post. We assign a post to a user, and now we in this we successfully retrieve the post, and here we successfully detach this post. So you can easily attach one or multiple posts. You can also assign. If I go here and create another post, so let me create another post. So it's the PHP post, okay, and description should be blah blah blah, and his publish is this, and let me create this. And yes, we have now two posts, so let me attach these two posts, right? So let me copy this, okay, and go there. I want to assign this two posts, right? So how we can assign multiple posts? So we can assign their IDs like in an array. So we have an array so I am defining the IDs of in our post. So for example, we have two posts which have ID of 1 and 2, right? This ID, this is a primary key of post table, right? I define this 1 and 2, so this will attach with this user, right? Save this one, give it refresh, and yes, it's throwing not any error. So let's go there and it will attach these two IDs. So let me go to the post user, and yes, we have attached one post with one user, and one user have also post of 2. So we successfully implemented this with an array. So user have multiple posts, so you can attach multiple posts with this user. So you can also implement this reverse relationship, like you can add users in your post model, and you can also attach some user with the post. So it's a reverse relationship. So you can also detach multiple users from the post. So let me make this for you. So detach, and I'm passing this 1 and 2. So these are the post IDs. So save this one, give it refresh, and yes, it's returned nothing. It means that it's successfully detached. So give it refresh, so both will disappeared, and yes, it's disappeared one. Why? Because I forgot to add this in array, right? So let me add another post here. Not this one, it will not add this. So let me attach it with this one. Okay, pass this. We have already one, so let me add this one. Give it comment, make this call this, and yes, now we have two posts which belong to user. So let me detach them. So uncomment this, detach, and we need to specify the array here, 1 2. Save this one, give it a refresh, and yes, it's removed, and in this case it's refreshed. So let's give it a refresh, and yes, it's removed the both, it's detached the both posts from the pivot table, right? So we successfully implemented this detach with an array, so you can detach multiple posts from the user. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you learned a lot. If you have any query, you can ask them in the comments box. So stay connected. Bye bye.